Alright, I was hesitant to make this video for a long time. See, my channel is about cycling, is about bicycle touring, and I want everyone to enjoy this activity as safely as possible. Now, there's always a debate going on, especially when somebody gets into an accident. It's like, was this cyclist wearing a helmet? Almost as if you don't wear a helmet when you're cycling, you're somehow negligent or you don't care about safety. And well, I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I think in some cases helmets provide marginal protection against a scenario that hopefully will never happen, because it could cost you more than just a scratch on your head. And I'm not talking about a collision where the head saved your life. I'm sure these do happen. Now, why don't I wear mine most of the time? It's tough to answer that because, frankly, I don't like it. I don't like this extra weight on my head. But am I against the use of helmets? Absolutely not. And that's why I was reluctant to go there, because I don't want to recommend you ride your bike without a helmet. Yet I am the one who does it. When you see me on my road bike, probably 90% of the time you'll see me with the helmet. When you see me on a long bicycle tour, same thing. I usually wear a helmet. When I'm cycling around town or on trails that I'm really familiar with and I'm not really pushing myself, probably almost 100% of the time I don't wear it. So for this video I have to do a little bit of digging to back up some statistics, make some comparisons, and hopefully you could find some common ground with me, and if not, leave me a comment. You can definitely give me shit, because I am for cycling safety, and that's what I want to stand for. I want to be helpful for when it comes to improving your chances of having a good bike ride and being alive to tell the story afterward. Stick with me.
Before we go on with this video, I would like to thank my helmet provider, Mech, who is not sponsoring this video, for selling me this beautiful helmet for the sum of $17.99 back in 2017. Isn't that awesome? This helmet has never been in a crash. It's got some scratches though. They are from stuff that I do, like throwing it on the floor, or sometimes putting it on in the house when I bang my head on the door, because, adds a whole inch to my head. That's like 2 inches. There's no doubt that helmets reduce your risk of head injury, or is there? Now let's talk about cycling and helmets. According to Statistics Canada, in 2013 and 2014, 42% of cyclists always wore a helmet. As a matter of fact, in some provinces there are laws mandating the use of bike helmets. Cycling seems to be particularly risky to the head, one would think. Anyone who does not agree with this is often ridiculed. The same document by Statistics Canada actually states that non-helmet users are more likely to engage in other risky behaviors like smoking and binge drinking. Further, they're on average less educated. How useful is a statistic like that? Statistics Canada seems notorious for equating formal education with increased capacity for good judgment. Judgment. Shouldn't statistics be free of judgment? Is riding a bicycle without a helmet really as risky as some of us believe? An article in Science Direct draws an interesting comparison using statistics from England between 2007 and 2012. Head injuries were identified as a secondary cause of death for 269 cyclists. That is significant, and we have to assume that a percentage of them could have been prevented by the use of helmets. But here's the kicker. Head injuries were a cause of death for 1,324 pedestrians and 1,046 drivers. This means 46% of cyclist fatalities, 42% of pedestrian fatalities, and 25% of driving fatalities. So is it fair to ask why cyclists are typically singled out when it comes to helmet use and the kind of judgment that's associated with it? Have you ever read a news report about a pedestrian fatality mentioning how the pedestrian wasn't wearing a helmet? Should pedestrians wear helmets? Is our environment so dangerous that it is necessary? If you believe those who claim that it is irresponsible to ride a bicycle without a helmet, then yes, you pretty much have to mandate helmet use for pedestrians as well. When is someone going to clue in on this untapped business opportunity, create a helmet for pedestrians, and then tell everyone that it can reduce the chances of head injury by, say, 70%? How do cyclists and pedestrians get killed in traffic? An article by Outside Online states that in 2018, 857 cyclists were killed by drivers. In 2019, the number was 846. How many of those were wearing helmets? And out of those who were not, how many could have been saved? The answer cannot be determined. It would be pure speculation. But one thing is sure. Cyclists are vulnerable traffic participants with or without helmet, and should have their own lanes, separated from automobiles. It seems like insanity to mandate helmet use and send them out into motorized traffic, especially today when a ridiculous number of drivers use cell phones while they're operating their vehicles. What I'm trying to get at is that helmet use does not equate road safety for cyclists. Yes, a helmet will protect your head in certain situations and can therefore save your life. However, your conduct on the road, along with other factors, may be even more important. Avoid heavily traveled routes without bike infrastructure wherever possible. If you must share the road with drivers, grow a set of eyes in the back of your head and be prepared for the worst. Drivers generally feel entitled to the road and may not like to share it with some stranger on a slow-moving bike. Often they also feel that the cyclist is at fault when they come up at a speed they consider normal and fail to see the cyclist because they had to look at their GPS or tune the car stereo. It is a cultural thing in the worst possible way. David, a subscriber from Australia, recently commented about the helmet law in Australia. People actually have quit cycling because helmets are mandatory. They can be fined upwards of $350 for not wearing one. Just imagine the consequences. There are more cars on the road and less cyclists. A strong case for separated bike lanes has now weakened significantly. Why build a bike network when people aren't riding? Does this seem to be a good strategy for improving safety for cyclists? According to an article by Car Advice about traffic fatalities, the number of cyclists killed on Australian roads has doubled over the past 3 years. All other traffic-related fatalities are down over the same period. What is my point about all this? No, I'm not trying to influence your behavior when it comes to bike helmets. You're doing the right thing by wearing yours. But even if you don't wear one, it doesn't mean you're taking unreasonable risks. There's a lot you can do out on the roads and trails to ensure safe riding. No matter what you do, there's always some risk. Those who claim that safety is always number one and therefore everyone has to wear a helmet just simplify an issue where it is convenient, putting blame on cyclists where other problems exist. One of those problems is that we have way too many cars on this planet. It might be time to deny driver's licenses to those who have a track record of putting others at risks. They would be healthier and everyone would be safer if they were made to ride bicycles instead of cars. Bike helmets are a personal choice. I'll keep wearing mine where I feel the need, but reserve the right to leave it at home at my own discretion. If anyone decides to give me a hard time about it, I'll point out that according to Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, there were 39,707 firearms fatalities in the US in 2019 versus only 846 cycling fatalities. Shouldn't everyone at least wear a bulletproof vest? Gun control? Nah, let's not go there. Just leave cyclists alone when they want to enjoy a good ride without a clunky piece of styrofoam on their heads, okay? Now that I've pissed off enough people, I need you to support my channel. You can do so by hitting the like button and subscribing, if you haven't already done so. Next, you can check out one of the videos on the screen. I hope you'll enjoy.